Welcome back. The FM, while taxing a few sectors, has given boost to some sectors. His proposal for the aviation and power sector should make life easy for both these sectors.
The government has done well for two major sectors that needed a leg up: aviation and power sectors. Cash-strapped companies in aviation and power have reason to cheer, with the government opening up the external commercial borrowing route to raise funds up to $1 billion for these sectors. The airline industry, which is facing financial crisis, has also been allowed to directly import aviation turbine fuel. But not everybody is happy, so it seems.
We speak on behalf of the business aviation industry. By and large, I think the budget has been very disappointing for us. We were looking for certain issues which needed to be tackled on an urgent basis, especially on the import duties for aircraft import. We find that has not been addressed. In fact, that has gone the other way with the increase in the countervailing duty. The import duty has actually increased by about 2%, while we've been always fighting for a complete rollback on the import duty. So we are not happy with the budget which has been given for the aviation. See, ECBs are more for the commercial airlines than for business aviation, wherein they have allowed I think about $1 billion on an annual basis can be utilized by the ECB route. Again, the way the industry is ailing, we don't think that there would be any takers for actually giving this ECB to our airlines.
But the biggest blow came for energy explorers like ONGC and Cairn India, with the budget proposing to slap 80% increase in the cess payable on local crude production.
In terms of rupee payout, I think we'll be burdened by another 4,600 or 4,700 crores. And along with that, this excise duty and service duty increase. Total impact on PBT would be of the order of about 5,000 crores.
On the real estate front, the FM has given them some sops.
The budget has some provisions for the affordable sector of the market, allowing ECBs there and giving them certain concessions would certainly help in improving industry at large, especially for the affordable sector. But the question is much bigger than that. If we look at it from a macroeconomic point of view and look at the real estate industry in totality, then there are certain misgivings, or should we say wishes unfulfilled, that the finance ministry could have done. For example, granting us the industry status, which would have helped so many issues in the real estate industry. For example, the borrowings by real estate developers would have been done so much easier.
Well, in a way, he has put a smile on the face of the salaried class by raising the tax slab. The new slabs are: income up to 2 lakh rupees has a nil tax rate, income from 2 lakh rupees to 5 lakh rupees, 10% tax rate, income from 5 lakh rupees to 10 lakh rupees, 20% tax rate, income above 10 lakh rupees, 30% tax rate.
The committee had made some very healthy suggestions, especially in the context of the current economic situation, when we recommended that the exemption limit should be raised to 3 lakh per annum. We had in mind the fact that this will leave more money in the hands of the taxpayer, which he can then spend or save, and either case the economy is going to benefit. Now the finance minister has taken a baby step and raised it only by 20,000 rupees to 2 lakh, and this is very insufficient because it's just tinkering.
Well, Yashwant Sinha is right in a way. The FM has tinkered here and there, though the attempt has been made to present a very transparent and realistic budget. For instance, he has made imports of gold very costly. As a result, the entire bullion trade have down the shutter for over 11 days, losing in the process over 2,000 crore rupees of business. At the same time, one is wondering the rationale behind taxing the green vehicle, the bicycle. The basic custom duty on bicycles has been raised from 10% to